Good morning, world of readers. I am Book Dragon Erin, and I would like to welcome you all back to my booktube channel, where today I will be reviewing A Worthy Opponent by Katee Robert. A Worthy Opponent is a contemporary fiction romance novel with a dark fairy tale retelling theme going on, and this is a Peter Pan retelling, but it's an anti-hero romance. So instead of, say, Wendy and Peter Pan or Tinkerbell and Peter Pan, it's Tinkerbell and Captain Hook. There are several themes going on in this book, such as a plus-size romance. For some reason, I've always hated saying BBW, even though I am a bigger girl myself. And there is also the trope of the enemies to lovers story, the marriage of convenience trope, and there is a polyamorous sexual sharing theme going on, but Katee Robert does it right. About saying BBW, I have nothing against curvy women, because I am a curvy woman, but I feel BBW is a term that cheapens the curvy woman's experience. That's just my opinion. If you love saying BBW, that's fine by me too. It's just I don't partake in that mindset. A Worthy Opponent is also book 3 in the Wicked Villains series, and in the Wicked Villains series we have Desperate Measures, Be Still My Heart, Marry Me Jafar, I Will Be Waiting at the Altar. Then we also have Learn My Lesson, which is a Hades, Meg, Hercules romance retelling. Luckily nobody's related in that book, so it's totally fine. To be honest, I actually read that book first before I ever realized that Desperate Measures was book 1. And then we also have A Worthy Opponent, The Beast, The Sea Witch, and Queen Takes Rose. Once upon a time, I was a girl who believed in the happily ever after idea. Now, the only thing I believe in is revenge. Unfortunately for me, there's only one man willing to help me: Hook. I should have known it wouldn't be out of the goodness of his own heart, because he doesn't have one. Hook wants his ring on my finger and me on my knees before him. He won't take no for an answer. I am willing to pay any price whatsoever to bring Pan down, even if it means losing my soul in the process. Now we get to the juicy thoughts on this book. I can't wait to talk about it with you guys. I always wonder why it took me so long to find the Wicked Villains series. I mean, when I was a kid and watching the classic 1990s Disney movies, I always loved the Disney villains and actually wanted rewritings of all the movies, so the villains won the heart of the princess. I put that thought aside for years, but when I stumbled onto the Wicked Villains series, my inner child got her wish, because this series is all about the bad guys getting the girls. This is a literary dream of mine come true, and just the fact that I love kinky stuff and BDSM, that gives me that kid in the candy store feeling, and I just love the sexual tension of all these novels. It doesn't matter what couples there are, I just love them. The concept of Peter Pan being worse than Hook is darkly alluring to me. Who could ever make Pan evil? Tink goes into brief detail about Pan being so abusive to her. As she lived as Pan's partner in crime in the crime city of Carver City, she was almost anorexic and so abused, but once she escaped Pan, she became a plus-sized, yet pixie-sized beauty with a badass I don't give a fuck attitude, and I love that about her, because the concept of Tink being all that, instead of the mute little fairy girl in the movie, that was so good. I loved it. Also, Tink is not her name in this book. It's just an alias. Her real name is Tatiana, but she took on a new identity and a new persona after escaping the abusive Pan, who haunts her nightmares even now. Now, I don't like the idea of Hades throwing Tink out into the streets after protecting her for 5 years while their contract was in order, but I also understand the deeper reasoning of wanting Tink to become her own person instead of hiding under Hades' rule. I know not everyone will agree with me here and say that Hades was just being a dick, but I almost understand his thought process about wanting Tink to find her own strength instead of just relying on him for safety and protection and power. I also think it's really noble but also suspicious of Hook to offer Tink a way out of her predicament with Pan by proposing marriage to her. With Tink as Hook's wife, she is now a crime lady to his crime lord, and now she is protected forever. But even though that was such a cool concept of a marriage of convenience trope in this novel, I still saw this book going in two ways. One is, Hook could genuinely have loved Tink, but she was too scared and narrow-focused to realize that he truly cares about her and wants only the best for her. Or Hook could also love Tink selfishly and want her for himself, thus proposing marriage to keep her away from going back to Pan. However, I see these sexy anti-heroes having genuine feelings for the heroines, Jafar and Jasmine, Hades and Hercules and Meg, and now Hook and Tink. And I really do think that Hook genuinely loves Tink, even though she doesn't believe herself worthy of him or vice versa. I actually think it's really sexy how Hook has an effect on Tink in such a way that she tells herself, I'm not in love with him, I'm not in love with him, damn it, I'm in love with him. Even though she clearly loves him and is fighting herself internally because she's like, no, I don't want to love him, but secretly I do love him. She does love him in a broken way, but she feels mended as the story goes along, which I loved. To be honest here, I had to look at the fan art of this series because I kept imagining the original Disney character of Captain Hook falling for little pixie Tink. No. Because of that, I wasn't able to take the book seriously, so I was laughing so hard, which is why I looked up the fan art because I needed to take this book more seriously. After I looked at the fan art, things finally changed, and I was finally able to read this book without laughing like a hyena. I actually admire Hook in this novel because he knows that Tink is in trouble, so he does offer help. When Tink says the marriage will be a sham, Hook says, I know, but I won't force you to do anything you don't want to, and when you want me, I'll be waiting. Even when Tink asks, when will this all be over, Hook says, when you're safe, we can call it off. Hook may have the personality and aura of a dom, but he gives Tink all the options and all the power, so I genuinely respect him as the anti-hero character that we all wish was our boyfriend. I love how fitting Tink's safe word is concerning Hook. After their wedding ceremony, he asks Tink what her safe word is because he doesn't want to go beyond her realm of comfort. So all attitude, she says, why would I tell you my safe word when we're never having sex? Hook says there are plenty of ways to pleasure a woman without actually putting the sword in the sheath. So Tink relents. I love how she pauses and admits, pirate. I can only imagine the smug and honored grin that Hook has on his face when hearing that word. When Tink and Hook are celebrating their wedding night at Hades' Club Underworld, Tink notices Meg and Hercules doing a scene together with Meg dominating Hercules. I bring this up because Tink notes Meg does a lot less playtime with anyone in the underworld. I think this could be an epic plot twist here that would explain why Meg is not doing as many scenes. It's because possibly she could be pregnant. Will readers find out in the later book or the sequels if Meg is pregnant or not? Honestly, I would love that to happen, but I don't know where it would go with the plots. Also, we know that Hades was once a father and still wants a child, despite Meg's hesitation to be a mother. So would Hades be the dad to the baby, or would Hercules be the dad to the baby? I honestly cannot take this suspense, so I am reading the rest of the series as fast as I possibly can, and I will enjoy every moment of devouring and consuming all the literature in this series. What I don't understand is the concept of Tink and Hook's wedding night. Hook is a huge fan of share play, so he asks Tink, what number would you like? 1, 2, or 3? Tink says 3, and Hook blindfolds Tink, and then shares Tink with Gaston, Beast, himself, and Malone, as in Maleficent. The three of them acting as extensions of himself, while he himself doesn't consummate the marriage himself. It seems unfair to Hook, even with his own pleasure found, but tell me how that isn't cuckolding. I mean, I don't like that idea. That's just me, though. I actually wasn't expecting an ending quite like the one that I got, but it was more than I could ever have wanted for an anti-hero romance novel, mixed with a twisted Disney retelling. I love Tink's transformation from victim to victor, how she claimed her strength in ending Peter's reign of torment and tyranny, and I love how Tink made friends with Meg, Aurora, and Alecto. Alecto, I think, is my favorite of Tink's inner circle, because when she needed help, Alecto asks, okay, who do I need to kill? That is my exact response to any of my closest friends who need help with anything. It's like, okay, I have an alacrity for clandestine activities and no people. Who do I need to kill to make you happy again? Not that I would actually kill a person myself, you know that. I'm crazy, but not that crazy. I also loved how Tink and Hook admitted that they were finally in love with each other, and this book had my insides twisting in all the best ways possible when their pure lust turned into genuine human connection with lovemaking, and I loved how Hook proved that he loved Tink for who she was while not caring about the size of her sexy body. That is so much love right there. My heart dropped when Peter was about to take Hook out, but at the same time, my heart soared when Tink went to protect her man from the danger that was Peter Pan. Tink is badass and powerful, more than she ever realized, and if you're upset that Hades threw Tink out to the wolves, really think about that for a moment. If Hades didn't put Tink out on the streets, Tink would not have found the strength with the help of Hook right by her side. This book should be read by all the new adult ladies out there looking to find their own footing in the world, because even though this book is extremely dark, this book is so worth reading, and not just because of the sexy parts of this book, which I absolutely loved and appreciated as a reader of dark smut. Moving on to my final notes on this book, my rating for this book, 5 out of 5 stars, and if Goodreads allowed it, I would have given this book 10 out of 5 stars. Although I grew up on Disney movies and wished for the love of God that villains would turn anti-hero and eventually get the girl, I never expected to grow up loving twisted Disney retellings that give me exactly what I want. Although this is the 3rd book in the Wicked Villains series, this takes the cake as a close second favorite to Desperate Measures, which was a Jafar/Jasmine romance. And if you know me, you know I have a massive crush and possibly unhealthy obsession with Jafar. I love all the tropes and the themes that we see in this novel, from the enemies to lovers romance trope, the marriage of convenience theme, and then the curvy woman romance. I just love it. And even though I have rarely read any curvy woman romance, this book is my favorite from now until Doomsday. I never realized a Tinkerbell/Captain Hook romance would be so sexy, but this is the exact book that I never knew I wanted, but more than I could ever hope for. Give me more Katee Robert. I am here for everything you write. Doesn't matter what it is, I want to read it. Anyway, that's about it for today, so if you enjoyed this video, hit that like button to show some support, subscribe to my booktube channel to get more videos like this, turn on that notification button to be notified when I upload brand new videos every single Sunday. Keep on reading and have a great day, everyone.